When is D-Day, really? My wife, 37 female, and I have been married for 12 years and together for 16. We first met in college. We have a 6-year-old child. We've been saving for years, and we finally purchased our first home last year. We've had some ups and downs, but we've managed to maintain a long-lasting relationship. At this point, I'm not even sure what to name D-Day. The reality is so murky. Is this the first time I've discovered anything was going on months ago? Is it the previous week? What happened last night? Or maybe it's today. Perhaps D-Day was last year. It began the way these things usually do. My wife was up late messaging someone on her phone. It might have been relatives or friends, but something didn't seem right. She had been quite cautious of her phone, but I saw a chance in it while she was in the shower. She had been flirting with her colleague Jack Harkness in a semi-discreet manner. I don't know what more to say. It was obvious that this was a new relationship, but she was being daring. Much more daring than I'm accustomed to seeing from her. I questioned her on the subject. She said she didn't do anything wrong and that it was simply a colleague. She was furious at me for eavesdropping. A week later, when she gets ready in the morning, she leaves her phone unlocked on the nightstand. However, a notice from Jack appears. At 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't confront her since I don't want to wake up my kid. In any case, I'm terrible at confrontation. That afternoon, I discuss it with my therapist. He suggests I should approach her about it and find out what's going on. Requests that she show you her phone. And I do as well. When she arrives home, I ask to see her phone. She declines. She is entitled to privacy. I inquire whether she has been conversing with him. He's messaged her maybe 2 or 3 times, she claims. I am adamant on watching it. She tells me I'm hallucinating, and that I need to get treatment to overcome this. I assure her that's great, and that once I see her phone, I'll get assistance. She finally gives in. Over the previous 2 weeks, I've received 50 to 100 mails 2 or 3 times. They seem benign enough, yet she lied about them. We go to therapy. Again, we had gone previously when our child was first born, for about 6 months. Our counselor worked up a plan for reconciliation, but it needed her to stop communicating with him and a promise from me to put divorce on the back burner. My wife claims she no longer likes our counselor. We will never return. Perhaps D-Day was last week. My wife has been messaging her buddies all morning. I see her pin for unlocking her phone. I'm still skeptical at this point, and it's eating me up. I have 30 seconds when she leaves her phone out of sight, so I unlock it, just enough time to see she's messaging him again, but her name has changed to Harkness J. I don't get to read the messages. When I chat to her, I question whether she's still talking to Jack. She claims to be. But there isn't anything there. He's simply a buddy, and I've never told her not to speak to him. She said she needed to talk to him because they work together. I don't ask to view the text messages, and she doesn't offer to show them to me. Does it really matter at this point? Would it be beneficial? Perhaps D-Day was yesterday night. She was in a bad mood all day yesterday. Upset. Anxious. You're avoiding me. I took her phone from her bedside last night while she was sleeping. My heart is pounding. What if she awakens? What am I doing snooping? What will I discover? I'm filled with humiliation and worry. I type in the PIN. Incorrect. This time, there aren't enough digits. Her new PIN is a little longer. Well, screw it. I opt to sleep on the sofa at this time. She gets out of bed and goes downstairs. Inquires whether everything is all right. I tell her I have a headache, which is correct at this point, and that I'm feeling nauseated, also true. She inquires as to whether I have a fever or if I have COVID. I promise her that I do not. It was just a sinus headache. She invites me to come up to bed and tell her what's wrong. I inform her that I believe she is having an affair. She claims she would never do such a thing. She inquires whether this is about the other man. I inquire as to why she flirts with him. She claims it's because it's enjoyable. That's the end of it. My headache overpowers me, and I tell her I need to sleep. Today is, I suppose, D-Day. I'm exhausted. Emotionally as well as physically. I'm sick of the trickling truth's leaky faucet. I'm sick of the nuclear football with mobile phones. I'm sick of being paranoid and knowing that I'm always half right and walk away feeling like a jerk. I'm at a loss for words when she arrives home. I'm bad at dealing with conflict. I simply want this nightmare to stop. Story 2. Cheated on days after wedding and 7 years into relationship. I just recently discovered that my newlywed wife had cheated on me many times with her colleague. It's especially difficult since we recently got married after being together for 7 years and postponed our wedding from 2020 to last month due to COVID. but she's been talking to and meeting with this man behind my back for weeks and months, and it's also new and exciting. We've both been worried about our relationship for months and years, due to various priorities, etc., but I can't help but assume she just gave up on us and did this because she wasn't sure in our relationship and so had no moral conscience, to put it mildly. I know she liked this person as well, even though she claims it was nothing. Who knows how deep the relationship is? Anyway, in light of our past worries, I believe that the best thing I can do for myself is to file for divorce and go on with my life. It's the only way I can protect myself from this in the future, and I'll be permanently damaged by their fantasies. Accountability is one of the most important things I've asked for in this circumstance. She caused the mess, therefore she is responsible for cleaning it up. However, she still does not prioritize me or our relationship, going about her business as usual. We've chatted, and she says she doesn't know how I can forgive her, and I'm beginning to believe this was a self-fulfilling prophecy for her. Cheat, cut connections, and move on. I would have accepted the truth, but why did she have to inflict pain on me to get there? It's a shame it had to come to this. If I had known, I would have called off the wedding. I only know because I admittedly snooped, but I believe this would have continued behind my back, and I don't believe she regrets the conduct, more so now that she realizes how she affected me and feels horrible. I wish she had had the courage to do the right thing and prioritized me in the first place. Even being more straightforward with her worries and taking proactive measures might have stung a bit at the moment, but it may have saved her a lot of sorrow. Yes, that timing was horrible, but there is no such thing as a perfect moment. Fortunately, we do not have children. We're 29 and 30 years old, and kids were one of the few main issues we had. I was ready to start trying and beginning a family as soon as possible. It is significant to me. She does want to have children in the future, she has told me, but she wants to live her life and not be tied down right now. So it was one of the disconnects we experienced, another being where stay to reside in long term, our current location or back near family, etc. But as the wedding approached, I attempted to be a mature and grown-up person, full of hope that we could work things out and have a fantastic future together, despite the fact that we had a 50% chance of divorce if we couldn't. However, for her to do this crime and leave me broken and damaged for the rest of my life, rather than just telling me what was going on in her life and acting maturely about it, irritates me much. I'd want to emphasize that she did not come to me with this knowledge. I did investigate and found text conversations, and evidently she has been confiding in friends/coworkers all along the road, which makes me feel a little bad about them. But, in any case, I had to address her, which I did right away, and I offered her the option to come clean about any shady things that was going on, but she did not answer right away. Finally, when I said that I knew she had relations, she admitted and explained. Even then, she said it was just once, when I was out of town for a close friend's wedding without her last weekend. However, in subsequent chats, I was able to persuade her that it had occurred numerous times. She claims twice, who knows, doesn't matter. After a little more prying, not proud, but I felt compelled, I discovered that, what I think, the first time she met him was a few days after our wedding, and she came home and she and I had as well, so she practically double-dipped that night. That was a huge blunder. That's why, despite our particular history of 7+ years together, I believe this is unacceptable. Unfortunately, it will have to be a separate memory for me, and I must now proceed. It's not like she had a chance meeting one night, made a horrible mistake while under the influence, and then came to me with sorrow and repentance. No, I caught her, and now I have to trust myself and begin my new life and reality without her. Our lease is up in a few months, which will be difficult, but I'm going to check into one of us moving out early to begin the separation process sooner. Anyway, thank you for your time.